So over my decade of Transformers collecting, I have collected many Transformers that many people, including myself, might consider to be not that good. However, there's a few in this list, it's basically the entire list, that I, despite their flaws, and despite what they are, still really like them. So these are my top 10 guilty pleasure Transformers. I've had this video looming in the back of my mind for a while. You know, I reviewed the Cyber Commander Optimus Prime, which he's number 10, by the way. And I reviewed a couple other things, and something just got revealed. And we'll get to that when I get to that figure. But you know, I've reviewed some things lately, and you'll see them in this list, that make me think, like, you know, a lot of people really don't like this, but I do. So these are my top 10 guilty pleasure Transformers. Figures that I will admit that they're not that great. Some aren't even that good, but I really like them. So, like I said, number 10 is Cyber Commander Optimus Prime. For me, yes, this is a budget toy. This is definitely meant for kids. It was only retailed for like 20-25 bucks. But I feel like for what it is so well done. I love the design. I think it's really cool looking. It's huge. I just think it's really awesome. It's actually one of my favorite Optimus Primes. I have over 160 Optimus Primes, and this guy, out of all of them, is probably in the top 10 or 20. So yeah, he's up there for me. I just think he's really cool. So I've already done a whole review on him, if you want to check that out. He's a super cool figure. But we have a lot of figures of a lot of different sizes in this video. There's not any particular order. I'm just going to be showing them. Except maybe the first one. I will, it'll be like the one that I consider my biggest guilty pleasure. So next up, I don't really get a lot of the hate for Studio Series Dropkick. I don't really get a lot of the hate. Now, granted, do I keep him in helicopter mode? Yes, because it is the better mode. I will admit. But I still feel like it's a really fun robot mode. I still feel like it's a good figure. I still feel like it's, you know, nicely made. I feel like how they got a robot out of the super thin helicopter is really cool. I still really like this guy. But a lot of people think it's absolute garbage. And I wouldn't say it's absolute garbage. Is it bottom tier Studio Series? Yeah, it's not one of the best. But for me, I like it a lot. I think it's pretty nicely made. I'm not going to get rid of it. But see, since I already have a robot mode dropkick on the shelf, I'm like, it'd kind of be cooler to have like this one in the helicopter mode, you know? Now, with the counterpart, the car mode Shatter, I don't think that's good. I don't think that's a very good figure at all. But for Dropkick, I actually think this is pretty nice. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Like I said, it's a guilty pleasure. I know it's not that good, but I still like it. We're going to put him on his shoulder. All right, next up, let's talk about this one too, because this was another one I've recently talked about. Age of Extinction Galvatron. So, yeah, not a very good figure. It has the entire semi-cab on the back. I did an old versus new with this versus the new Studio Series, and the new Studio Series, on a functional and technical level, is a superior figure in almost every way. But this one, to me, I still really like it. I like the chunkiness of it. I think the robot mode looks very nice. I like the colors probably more than the Studio Series. I just think that the consistent gray and like all the, you know, all the other colors on it just look really nice. I think for being a shell former, it's very nicely done. It's very almost satisfying to do, even when it goes off the rail and you have to like flex it back into place. Yeah, man, it's one of my favorite Age of Extinction Voyagers. Seriously. Is it the best? Heck no. I mean, evasion mode exists. But man, I would say out of the Age of Extinction Voyagers, this is probably my second favorite. Even over Grimlock. Even over Hound. Even over, I think, Sludge was the other one. Yeah, this is my second favorite Age of Extinction Voyager. I really like it. It's just really fun to me. I like it. If you want more, I did a whole video kind of reviewing him. All right. Let's just get another one I've talked about recently out of the way. Let's just get it out of the way. I'm going to press a button on him, and if you already know what it is, congratulations. Oh, you don't know what that is? It's Energon Optimus. So, yes, it's not that good of a toy. It's not. Well, I should say it's not that good of a figure, because the base Optimus Prime looks pretty ugly. I mean, to give you a little bit of an idea, like that's his body, that's his head. He looks morbidly obese. Okay, he does not look like a very cool. Oh, there's a little gnat on him. That's unfortunate. Gotta love summer when all the bugs come in the house. I love it. But anyways, yeah, it's not that good of a figure. But when it comes to being a toy, this is where it becomes a guilty pleasure, because I think that the idea of an Optimus Prime combining with 4 other vehicles to make a giant, big, clicky, lights and sounds robot is super fun. Yes, his colors are super garish. Yes, he looks very awkward in many positions. But man, this toy just screams 2004 fun, and I love it. Is it one of the best Optimuses? No. Actually, I think the Cyber Commander in the back is better than this one. But still, I really like it. It's really fun to me. I think it's really nicely made. I think the production value and the plastic and everything's nicely made. It's just not that pretty to look at in some ways. Still a very fun figure though, super fun. All right, let's get into one of the ones that is a reason why I decided to make this video. Because it was recently announced that Beast Wars Retracts was getting a reissue. Out of all the freaking Beast Wars figures, it was Retracts that gets a reissue. And I may be thinking, oh, J4, do you already have the reissue? No. This is the original vintage one. Well, more like retro instead of vintage, but yeah. So, why is this on the list? Why do I like it so much? Well, it's just goofy, man. It's so goofy. Is it a good figure? Not at all. Not at all. His articulation, sure, you can move his head, which I actually do think his head design's really cool. You've got like these little tiny hands that you can like get out of his big old like arms. It's very hard to even reach in and grab him. Like you just, I'm fighting it. It's like, you know, it's, oh man, it's very difficult to work with. I'm pretty sure the hand can like separate, can it not? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just saw it. Like, can you not flip the hand out? I guess not. I guess I'm just mistaken. Oh yeah, it's kind of like a oh yeah, there you go. I'm like, yeah, you can get the hand out. Yeah, it's very odd. Has like this whole gimmick where it power hugs. Because he was called Power Hug in Japan. Oh, it's so goofy, but I love it so much. And he is a pill bug. A green pill bug with pincers. It's so 90s. It's so goofy. The gimmick is so goofy. It's such a goofy figure. But I love it. Because it's bad. Because it's very bad. Now, a lot of people are like, why did they reissue this? They should have reissued so many others before this. Yeah, you're right. They should have. But it's Power Hug. And he's gonna give you a Power Hug. Are you ready? You ready? Doesn't that feel good, man? Getting all squeezed like that? Oh, yeah, I bet it feels really good, man. Oh, yeah. That's Power Hug's character now, or I should say Retracts. I like calling him Power Hug, because I just think that's like the best name ever. I want to actually get the Japanese Takara Power Hug someday. I seriously do. So yeah, he's interesting. All right, next up, let's take a dive into the world of the cheap. This is actually a 2-for-1. These are, I consider them very overlooked because a lot of people probably just looked at them when they came out and thought, oh, those are just kiddie toys. And I mean, yeah, you're right. These are toys after all. But one-step changers and bot shots. I really like these. One-step changers, I think, are very nice, fun, instant transformation toys. Are they worth $10 each? No. But are they worth a sale price of $5? Yeah. I don't like having the same transformation scheme twice, but this is my favorite one. This is Prowl from Age of Extinction, because you just have him driving, you know, he's just driving along, and all of a sudden, BAM! He's T-posing on you. But, I mean, come on. You get a figure, you can, like, move his arms and everything. But also, just look at that transformation. It is so satisfying. Fun fact, I actually keep this figure by my desk because I like flipping it so much that, like, if I'm bored, I seriously take it off of where it is and I just flip him. This is, oh my gosh, I just kicked the crap out of retracts. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's very fun to me. I feel like these toys are very fun for kids that, you know, want to have the action happen instantly. Because Transformers, you know, they're a figure, they're an alt mode, and they're a puzzle. But if you want the action to be instant, like, transform! And, oh yeah, you know, these are very fun. You know, they're basic, they're very fun, but I just don't feel like they're worth the retail price. And I think a lot of people see that retail price and they think they're all overpriced garbage. You know, they are what they are, and I really like them, despite the floopy. And Bot Shots is very similar. This was a game where you had these little, you know, cars. They bashed each other, and then they flipped up, and they had whichever one the player selects, and whichever one has, like, the most points. It's basically like rock, paper, scissors. Really fun little game, and I just thought these figures were so collectible. You know, having, like, look at this. This is a little breakdown made out of a wrecker. I want to say maybe it was Roadbuster? I want to say this used to be Roadbuster. But yeah, you know, it doesn't work all the time. But it's just so fun to me, man. It's very fun. And I got rid of a lot of my little, you know, knick-knack gimmicky Transformers. You know, like I said, I kept only one of each transformation scheme for one-step changers. I got rid of a decent amount of little dumb stuff, but I kept every single Bot Shot because I love these. And actually, I wouldn't mind having more of them. So Bot Shots and one-steps, they're both together because they're both very similar, but they're both very guilty pleasures. Alrighty, next up, let's go back into the world of some figures this one might kind of catch you off guard. The original mold, the original version of this figure is regarded as very, very bad, and I would agree. It's very bad, but something about making it red and white. I really like Fall of Cybertron Sideswipe. Yeah, he's not that good. Yeah, he looks really awkward. He has a big old chest. I mean, oh my gosh. Look at that rack. Oh my gosh. And he's got these big old Popeye arms, and these little tiny little feet and legs. Yeah, it's very awkward and very weird, but something about it, man. Maybe it's just because I'm a sucker for the whole War and Fall of Cybertron stuff, and I was just really happy to get a Sideswipe. But yeah, I really like this figure. Like I said, it's not that good. It's very rickety and very telling of the time that it came out in. It's very hollow and very simple with low parts count. But it does something to me, man. Every time I look at it, it's actually one of my favorite Sideswipes. I like it a lot, despite how not good it is. You know, it's not good. The transformation's irritating. It's awkward. It's clumsy. You can see it's a little rickety. It's not good, but I like it. Something about it, man. Something about this figure. The Jazz, I think the colors are hideous. It's like this weird off-white. It was super fragile. Mine broke like right away. But when you make it red, it looks a little better. Just a little bit. All right, we've got 3 left. Let's go back to Beast Wars. Now, this one's a guilty pleasure, not necessarily because of the figure itself, but more so because of my nostalgia for it. So, I didn't have a lot of childhood Transformers. I didn't have a lot. I had some Cybertron stuff. I had some RID Spy Changers, some, GoBots, the Play School GoBots. But when it comes to, like, older Transformers, one of the few that I had, this is going to be crazy for some people. Like, some people are going to look at this and think, are you serious? One of the few I had was Beast Wars Injector. This thing is weird, man. This thing is a freak. This is not my original. The original was broken and incomplete because it's not a very well-made toy. It's got all these little fragile fins up top, and it's got tons of little ball joints that'll pop out of place. It's got a missile. You know, it's, like I said, Ball Joint City, it's very weird and awkward. Basically, this is a Beast Wars Fusor, where he was fused between a Bumblebee and some weird, like, piranha fish. Basically, the entire head is the piranha fish mode, but with the face flipped down to reveal a robot face. I have unclipped it because I have spoiled the surprise. Because he has this weird feature where, I don't even remember what button you press, he's got, like, an attack of some sort. Maybe you just, like, I don't even remember what you do for it. You hit something, I know. I know you hit something. I accidentally did it. Basically, whatever you hit, I forget. But it, like, causes his head to move down and the frills go out and it's like a headbutt with his weird horn. Because for whatever reason, he has a stinger on the front head of the fish. And he's got a moving jaw. And his head looks like an odd mutated Placharachnia. Dude, this is freaking ugly, but I love it. Mostly just because it was one I had as a kid, and it means a lot to me. You know, having Beast Wars Injector of all crazy, stupid, silly things. He's bad, and I love him for it. His leg just popped off. Because his articulation's so bad you can't even move his legs out without him popping off. Yeah, he's a weird one. He's a weird one, but you know what? He's my weird one, and I love him. Alright, so that's a very guilty pleasure right there. That figure is weird. But we got a couple more. This one is, I don't really know how appropriate the placing is on this one, but I've picked figures where I have, like, seen people say it's not good. You know, the consensus from what I've seen by many is that it's not good. And I've seen a decent amount of people, like, dismiss the Transformers Cyberverse era from, like, Transformers Dark of the Moon and Prime and Robots in Disguise. A lot of people don't like the little Cyberverse Legion and Commander class stuff. But me personally, I love them. I think they're super cool and super fun. Injector's about to take a nap. Can we not do that, buddy? We still have a little bit of time left. Please don't fall asleep on me. Yeah, these guys are just really fun. And this is one of my personal favorites. It's the Dark of the Moon Bumblebee mold. They're not perfect. I mean, look at it. It's very inaccurate, very oddly proportioned, and it's very tiny. But it's a little posable and transformable figure of Bumblebee. Don't ask me why I just flipped his feet 2 times. I swear I don't have OCD. But yeah, he's posable. He's got a little gun arm. He can interact with playsets. Like, I've got the ARC playset, thanks to the comic figure blog. He gave me that, and I've got, like, a big Cyberverse Optimus Prime from Transformers Prime, and I've got a couple vehicles from Prime. There's so much to interact with these, and they're so fun, and they're very collectible. And one really cool thing. Number one, again, like one-step changers, these are very easy to transform. Like, it's very nice for kids to have, like, the instant, boom, there you go, you've transformed it. You don't have to worry about dealing with a puzzle and, you know, waiting 5 minutes to get Bumblebee in one mode to another. But they're Hot Wheels sized. They're essentially transforming Hot Wheels Transformers. You know, they're about Hot Wheel size, and you get a robot out of it. And I think that's super awesome. A lot of them roll very well. They don't have a lot of weight to them, so they might not compete too well with a Hot Wheels car on a track. But still, they're a similar size. I feel like they're very collectible. And I really like them. I wish they would bring these back more. They do kind of have something for the current Cyberverse line. I know it's kind of ironic. But they're not fully transforming like this. They're not full, like, figures. I like that they're bringing Core Class into it. I like that they're doing Core Class more, but Core Class is more like the Legends class and the basic size that we knew in lines prior. Cyberverse Legions were like the weird Legends size, like even smaller. They're like in between Legends and like Minicon size. I don't know. This is like my favorite size for small Transformers. Minicon and Micromaster size are just too tiny. But when you make them Hot Wheel size, I'm a huge fan. So that's another guilty pleasure. And this last one is a very guilty pleasure because this is regarded by many to be the worst Combiner Wars mold. A lot of people freaking hate this thing. They call it bad. They call it, you know, really, you know, just so many mean names. And I feel like it's just because of one feature of it. And I feel like the rest of the figure is really great. And I don't get the hate for it. I genuinely love and will defend Combiner Wars Brawl. I think this toy's great. The one issue that pretty much everyone has with this mold is the waist. And yes, it looks pretty bad. It's very oddly shaped. He doesn't really have a stomach. It's very odd looking to me. For many people, it doesn't clip in too well. It has this hinge that's kind of awkward. But I know this solution is not one that many people will be okay with. But for me, you know what I do? I think he looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty good. You know? And what you're left with, in my opinion, is my very controversial opinion. This is my favorite Combiner Wars Deluxe. It is. It's my favorite. It's regarded as the worst, but it's my favorite. Let me tell you why. So, of course, Brawl is one of my favorite Transformers characters, so yes, I'm very biased. But I think the arms, I really like how the arms look. I like how I can hinge them up and down to give them, like, more personality or character and posability. I think that just works really well in his favor. Yes, the waist is still problematic, but bear with me. The legs, though. These ankles are like the most posable ankles, still to this date, that I've seen on a Transformer in a long time. They do look a little disproportionate and a little odd, the crazier you get with them. But still, you can get some crazy stomps. Like, look at this. You can get him stomping, and you can get his ankle with all those double hinges, like, moving forward. Like, how many Transformers can you get in a pose like this? Look at that. Look at that stomp. That is sweet. I just think his leg posability is so nice, because he just has so much going on with the ankles. And he's got these super big feet, too, so, like, pretty much any pose you get him in. And he has a hinge at the head, too, so you can't actually get him looking up, which is a lot more than I can say for many other Combiner Wars molds. I own this mold 4 times. I have this Brawl. This is the standard one. I have Unite Warriors attached to my Bruticus. I have the G2, and I have Nose Cone. I'd love to own every version of this mold. I would, but I don't think it's ever going to happen because many of them are relegated to box sets. But yeah, I threw a missile launcher on him just because I thought it looked cool. And yeah, what you're left with is, in my opinion, my favorite Combiner Wars Deluxe. Now, am I calling it the best? No, it's not the best. And like, objectively, if you look at them, it's not the best Combiner Wars Deluxe, but it's my favorite. And I personally really like it. And I think many people just focus in on the one issue, and they ignore everything else about it that's going on that is very nicely done. So, with that being said, there are my top 10 Transformers guilty pleasures. Figures that I really like, either despite their flaws, you know, I'm looking past what other people see in them to see something else, or I just disagree with the general consensus, you know? Some of these I disagree with, others I fully admit they're terrible. Others, I just see things that other people maybe don't see. Alrighty, let me know what you think of these figures. How bad are these figures to you? Because, in my opinion, I can look at all of these, except for Brawl, and say, yeah, they're not that great. You know, I would say the best out of these, the top 3 best toys in this, like objectively, you know, when it comes to functionality and quality and durability and all that, I would say the 3 best are Brawl, the Little Bumblebee, and Cyber Commander Optimus. That's what I consider the 3 best. I would say 4th is probably Energon. Energon's very nicely produced, but the engineering and the colors and everything, it's a little dicey. Alrighty, guys. Again, let me know what you think, and also let me know what some of your Transformers guilty pleasures are. What are figures that the general consensus is that they're bad? You know, do you like them? Are there any that you like? Are you one of the weird 2 people on this planet that actually really likes Transformers Prime Deluxe Arachnid? I'll shame you on that one. Let me know, would you want to also see a top 10 worst Transformers? I won't have any of these on the list. Just out of principle. I won't have these, but I might go through and find the 10 figures I consider to be the worst in my collection. Just ones that probably not really worst objectively, just worst like my least favorite. Maybe that's what the title would be. My least favorite. The ones that I just don't like that much. That I just have for the sake of the collection and not really for the sake of, oh, I really like that toy. Which, when it comes to Transformers, I buy them for the toys, not really for, like, fulfilling a collection. But there's some collections where I make that decision and I decide to get a figure that's not that good. Alrighty, guys. I've rambled on long enough. Thank you so much for watching. Special shout out to the patrons at Patreon. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Alrighty, guys. There we go. Have a good one. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.